Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham at the third at your service. We're going to be talking about this very seriously, how all of these programs are, I work personally, and why they are so boldly connected. Right? We're going to really break it down a bit, know it all, and it tallies up a lot of information, right? It would take years and years of unanagramming it all, processing it through your brain, and then come up with the answers you need, right? I'm going to go through this one by one, as I was telling you this, from the day I was born on October the 10th, 1983, right? A lot of people ask, how's your life progressed through the programs you watched all your life? We take it very, very seriously and we have to take it on board, right? Of course, when you're young, right, we watch Thomas Tank, Button Moon, Rainbow, all of the extras that include, right, as you progress forward, obviously. But I want to get down to the main programs, why it's so boldly connected, right? A lot of people said there's a lot of going on, right? It's probably going on in your brain as well, thinking, how does he know this? How does he get progress through this? How does he know this without reading it and watching it all the time, right? Contacts are the key to my success. Now, a lot of you might think, am I the only hat on the board on the line? The answer is no. Why? Because there's always somebody else besides me, right? It's not my father, Charles Topham Hatt. He's gone. Right? He's got nothing to do with it. My grandfather, Sir Topham Hatt the First, done his part. And then his grandfather, Sir Topham Hatt Senior, done his part. Right? So when you look at it, realistically, what you watched is what is unfolded. Gently. Very complicated, yes. But it does make you think. It's not about intelligence. It's not the intelligence side of the brain, it's the thinking side of the brain. So when you think, how does this unfold properly without damaging yourself or anyone around you, right? We all have all our favourite programs in alignment, even movies, TV shows, then games on top of that, of course, and it all adds up, right? A lot of people said, what makes us who we are in reality, not just what you see on TV. So a lot of people said from the day you were born, right, the day I was born, let me give you a heads up, right? I was born out of love and was brought up by love, right? Respect, honesty, and everything comes to reality. It's no fiction in it, right? A lot of people say, what did you do in your life? Right? Because as Stephen Hatt, as I was, everybody got everything in motion, and then all I had to do was play it out. Right? The programs that are all involved, TV programs, whatever, Bullseye included, obviously, game shows, etc., etc., they all connected. Then everybody asks, why are your private connections are all connected to TV and movies and games? There are people involved that are not around today, or they're still alive today, because they have connection, right? Everybody asks, right? Right. Say for instance, you were thinking about this twice, and you had to step in line and say, right, you have every connection around the globe? The answer is yes, right? But they all have a purpose, right? Everybody knows the hats, right? Right? That is all correct, right? It took nearly 40 years to get the third generation to get started, right? The biggest problem before I get into motion of programs I watch, because I want you to understand exactly what unfolded me correctly. Not playing children's games, playing computer games all day. It doesn't work with me, right? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we put the game side to one line, right? Saying they're not all computer games problem, right? A lot of people, right? Doctors in the past will understand this quite well, right? Not now. It is really realistic. So, and I'm going to slip it in somebody else, right? People said it's true, it's logical, and it's respectful. And quite honestly, a lot of people that say this, when people subscribe or watch the whole podcast from episode 1 all the way up to its nearly 50s to 60s, right? People will understand it every time, right? So, when people think this is all a game, no, it is all reality. How? You see, people have what you would call anagrams, right? Anagrams are not easy to fix or correct and everything else, right? A lot of it is all to do with DNA. So everything is all DNA involved. So when people look into it very deeply, they get all of it in black and white, right? So when people say, what? It's true? The answer is yes. Because there's, well, let me take the example, right? Facebook as a whole is not going to help you. It's not going to survive you. They're not, let me give you a little hint, right? The programs that I watch have a lot of clues, a lot of answers, a lot of situations involved. Right? Murder She Wrote, The Bill, Star Trek, and Thomas the Tank, they all linked. So you can't just destroy that. No, 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 no. Bad move. So what do? Leave it alone. Let it play out. Because what you're seeing is the unfoldment of all of it. So by the time you realise, people on YouTube, as example, right, they say, oh, this is going to happen, or this is going to happen, or this is going to happen. They have to have what you call, it's like a news tabloid, which I did on my last video. I stated, right, a lot of things on that last video, right? Right, strike one, right, you have to have your source. Then you have to have the facts to prove it, right? When the facts are there, it won't, right? The facts will back you up, right? If you don't have that, it's like saying, like, this is why I don't like tabloids. I don't like newspapers because I don't read them, right? But I understand where they're coming from. Logically, what they do, they hide the truth from you. Then I told you everything you need to do, right? So I don't need to repeat myself. So all you have to do is watch the last video about the newspapers and the news around the globe, right? That's one video I do recommend, right? I want to make sure that you understand a lot of clues are everywhere. Did you know Christopher Reeve is actually one of my private contacts? One of my best contacts, right? He's trying to deliver a message to you to say hope. Hope is what gives you the advantage a little bit, right? Hope for tomorrow, hope for the future, hope for everything. But it's like saying when he's Clark Kent, he has to act normal as possible, right? When you when in my position, right, I don't have the luxury, right? So I have to do a certain job like this and tell you guys I am realistic. I'm not what you call. When I was younger, when I was 5 years of age, right, I went on a big coach, which is called Henrietta or Hannah, if you like to call it correctly. And what I do is I get on there, but there was a little secret in there. Ding ding, right? I wasn't the only one that went on it, right? Most of the people think, oh, it's my sister. The answer is no, because it's focusing on somebody else's life. It's not just mine. So when you see me getting on Henrietta, right, in sharing them indirectly of North Norfolk Railway so long ago, right, I stated to you, programs have a way of unfolding in front of your eyes. If you're blind as a bat, then you're reading a book, and then the realistic version is told directly on the premises, right? The North Norfolk Railway, right? Let's take Facebook's advertisement, right? And their Facebook channel of the North Norfolk Railway PLC, right? They tell you a lot of things, right? We could go through this like a book, right? You want honesty? You're gonna get it, right? Everybody that worked on the North Norfolk Railway before 2019 and, and during the 2006 up to 2016, when the bloody bad thing happened, obviously, you start to wake up and smell of coffee a little bit, right? We all have to. We can't just think it's not happening at all because we have to let it unfold, right? A lot of things saying, oh, the North Norfolk Railway is going to have Dad's Army. We have that connection as well. But the thing is, you're not reading the newspapers to realise, oh, sugar, that's coming. Yes, everybody's loving it, liking it, blood, you get the drill. And a lot of people will say, why bother doing that if the fact the crawler's not on the line? Right? This is during World War Two, and a lot of people say, what is the catch to this? There's no catch. There was a boundary. This is why programs are so vital to give you clues, answers, everything else. Do you know what? The Royal Train of Dad's Army was one of the major, not loopholes, but the actual truth, right? And a lot of it is all true. You can't just say, what? You're watching this and you're understanding it? Well, if you watch it, right, you understand what's going on, right? Yes, there's one thing you should worry about, right? There's a lot of things in Sheringham, Rayborn, and Holt, or what you call in Southern language, Wellsworth, Marin, and in the extra department, right? A lot of people don't realise, oh, we're connected to Smallville, we're connected to Star Trek, we're connected to Superman, we're connected to everything. But then you've got to work out, yes, Thomas and the Magic Railroad was very famous, right? I've got a clue from a private connection, right? I'm gonna tell you this here and now. This is no joke, everybody, in any angle. And I'm gonna give it to you on a silver platter. You know Maria Wilson, who plays Lily? She's a private connection, but she's also my family friend. So, work it out. So you got her, or you're quite surprised. Then you've got to work out why is the movie of Celine Dion what you call what do you call that movie that has Celine Dion in it? And hold on, let me just bring it to attention so everybody gets through. Let me just get on. Right, there was a movie, right, that actually starred the story of what you call Text Me, I think it was called, in basic terms. Now I've got to think of, but, let me just get this out, get quickly, so I get my facts correctly. Right, Love Again. Right, guess what? All my Steam team was in it. Huh? Drop Claude, aren't you? Love Story is based upon with my Steam team. Connections are everywhere. Right? We always take programs, for example, TV programs, etc., and we're going through all of this step by step. We're not rushing it. We're not going to fall back on it. We're just going to give you the facts, the truth, and the logic where to catch it. Right? When a lot of cast that star in that film particular, Bill, right, the love story, right, we always watch it, and I'm telling you now, and I'm not being disrespectful on this, right, Jonas as example. Where's Jonas involved? Oh, sugar. It's based around Norfolk. Why? Connections are everywhere. So, the other one that I like to bring up is Doctor Who, obviously, being another major priority. Why is Doctor Who involved? Uh, I don't know, but I do, and it's all to do with John Hurt being Sailor John. Now, that's in the Thomas movie indirectly, but he's not alive and well anymore. He's gone. He's been, he's not history, but the memory of him will always remain in the Thomas franchise. People can't work it out. The voice will give it away. That's an instant record lift. But the love story between Celine Dion, right, there were the movie is so repelling, right? I'm gonna give out a lot of songs on this, and I'm gonna be honest with everybody on this one. Why is a love story got a lot to do with Thomas and Friends? Connections, right? People involved. Rebecca, Gordon, Millie. Where are they coming from? Thomas the Tank and Friends. Ding ding. Right? A lot of people say, why do you watch these programs or movies in general and you're ending up with a big clue in front of your face and it's staring in front of your face and you realize what to do, how to handle, how to be, how to say, practical, if you will, prioritize, and so forth. And we get to the bottom of the line where you think, what else is involved in Thomas and Friends? Right? A lot of old names are involved in Thomas the Tank and Friends, even from 1912. So what happened? Let's take another movie as example. I know programs are the most important, but they always be there. Murder She Wrote, The Bill, Thomas the Tank, and Star Trek are the main priorities. That's all set, right? If you play it correctly, right? But all of these movies that I mentioned, Superman, Smallville, is another one on the hit list. Right, that's also part of the timeline. Why? Because I'm trying to explain everything to you. Right? You probably got a lot of questions in your mind, thinking, how does he know all of this? How does he wiggle around that in his head of his? Well, I have time. Time is one thing that I have in common, right? But people just cannot see. The answers are unfolding in front of them. People are probably walking their dogs, even that. But the main majority of watching programs, or 24 as another example, that's my mum's clue. That's my mother's clue. Why? Because she was 24 when she gave birth to me. So work it out. It's all there, all in truth. It started that book 32 of Thomas and Friends, right? Click, 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 click. And it goes on and on and on. But then people say, right, if these are all these programs and all these connections you got, The Secret Garden is another one. Maggie Smith, another private connection. Why? Celine Dion is another private connection. Why? There's a lot of people involved in it. And when you think about it, it all comes back to you, and then you want the answers on the silver platter. I have to think before I podcast. Right, excuse my French if I feel burpy, but there you go. When you think about the railway systems, right, they have a major problem right now, right? It doesn't matter if it's in the UK or the United States, whatever. They all try to coordinate, right? To try to prioritize, try to think, try to do. But Norfolk, in general, are having problems right now. Programs may help with you or people around you, depending on your personality. Right? Your personality is your key. Right? No one can't take away your personality if you know what's set in motion. Right? This is why you have to understand why you know about a lot about Smallville. Right? There are a lot of people that keep saying, why is Smallville so attached to you? Well, Christopher Reeve died 3 days before my grandfather died on my mother's side of the family. So work it out. The 10th and the 13th. Why is that? I wonder. And it's in 2004. Then my grandmother on my father's side of the family, my one that I don't see often, Charles Topham Hatt's mother, I would say, sorry, not father, mother, died in 2014. Then you're wondering, it's all there in crystal plain field. Everybody's starting to wonder, why is Smallville so important? Right? There are a lot of people that can relate to how to, to what programs they connect with, but you don't see many people fly. That's one thing I can give you. Right? If we had people flying in the sky today or tomorrow or whatever, it it's right. Let me give you a breakdown of this because this is gonna make it one hell big bang in the end. Right? Before I came into the picture, you had a man that believed he could fly. A man, right? The man that believed that he could fly. Right? Right, a man who took a lot of dedication and time, but he was in Smallville as well, in Dr. Swan, Virgil Swan, right? Right, this is after Christopher Reeve's paralysation in 1995, but he died in 2004, October the 10th. So work it out, right? So what happened? Christopher Reeve is a private connection of mine, yes, but work it all out. It's all there, all in truth, right? And the logical thing is, right, Christopher Reeve has his own connections, right? Besides his son, Matthew Reeve, and Alexander Reeve as well. That's Matthew's sister as well. Which is all connected. Ding, 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 ding. And it's all connected. Why is hope so much more powerful than anything? There were other programs involved during my lifetime, right? And then you ask, are why are the main majority of these programs and movies are all connected to my life, right? Then you've got to work out one bit by bit. You can't rush it. I would not ask you to rush it because it will not help you in the end, right? So you've got Love Story by Celine Dion, and so right, why is Celine Dion so powerful on the Hatt family? Well, where does my heart beat now? It's all coming back to me now, and that bang. Why? Because it's how I feel in my heart and my soul and my mind. I just, in the day, when I sing those songs, the other one I sing quite a lot of, which is quite unusual, is One and Only by Chesney Hawkes. I sing that as well, and I nail on the coffin with everybody. Everybody likes that song, and I'm not disputing it, you know what I mean? But when I feel SOS by ABBA as well, you got that as well. So I've got private connections with ABBA. Why? Because they're Swedish. Right? So, oh God. Then you're asking yourself, why all your good programs and all these movies, you got it all connected and you worked it all out. You got Ghostbusters as well, which is another one, which I won't repeat again because that's all to do with the Twin Towers, right? So what we are trying to tell you, it's all true, it's all logic, it's all respect, and everything fits into place, and you have to slowly work out. Yeah, I know there's one question that's in your head asking me, and you want the answer straight away, but it's not going to come very quickly, right? My mother, myself, right, we're all trying to work our way through this slowly, yes, but it's going to take us time to work out what fits well with everything, right? So with all these programs that I watched during my lifetime, even Transformers the movie, yes, I do have connections with them as well for obvious reasons. Because I watched Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters cartoon as well, which coordinates it all. So when you add it all in, right, a lot of people ask, why is a steam team in Love Story by Celine Dion? Why? Connections. We have connections so far back and so far forward that you've forgotten what's in front of you. And then you've got your steam team being brought up the way they do from third gen from 1983, 1973, then you have 1963, then you have another one that's 1953. But no, it was 1958 when my Charles Topham Hatt the second came into the picture. Right? My mother was born a year later on the 1st of January 1959. So work it out, Dr. Hatt. It's on her 65 years of age, right? which is true. And then you're adding it all up in your head and you're trying to work it out yourself. And I'm trying to help you, guide you, support you as much as I can. It's not going to be an easy target of like every answer, right? The thing was, when my grandfather on my mother's side of the family was doing all of this puzzle in his head as much as I am, right? Right? He done it, he cracked it, but then he kept his piece safeguarded. Why? Because he knew that his grandson that lives with him, which was me, of course, Stephen Hatt, bang! Ask yourself the question. I was there in 1983 on October the 10th, as predicted and timed right. Then you're asking yourself the biggest question. Why was my mother safeguarded? From a lot of people out there, right? She got on with her storyline, the way it was played out and unfolding correctly on everyday basis. Then you lot, let's just say certain people out there, not the private connections, but the people that know her well, a lot better than anyone else. Right? Well, well, all she had to do was play her story out. Right? You want answers, but you won't get them out of her. Right? That's true. But there's a fine line. And then you're asking yourself, why is the Norfolk Railway acting so selfishly? Because they're getting what you will call immaturely out of order. Right? We know that. But I'm not going to intervene straight away. Right? It has to get so bad up there before I can fix the damage. Is it right? Okay, you're probably asking yourself in your mind, right? Because of my well-being as well, physically, not the other way round, but physically directly, right? It's all there on a silver platter. Just think of me like a pedestal, right? I've got two scales, one on the left, one on the right, right? To get it balanced out. If the balance is not right, nothing else fits right. So you gotta feel like, why all of these programs? Why all of these connections? What have you got that we haven't got? It's full-time connections, right? People are looking for hope. People are looking for way to go forward, not back. They're looking for a way to balance everything out. But we have to work together. We can't pull back and think we can get away with it and try and solve the problem ourselves, because it doesn't always work like that. Right? The Norfolk Railway, you're probably looking at it right now and feel like, oh, I got this, I got onto the railway line and I got this, I've done this today, the picture taking and all of that, and then advertising it on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere, even YouTube, and they tell you, oh, listen. It goes from A to Z, right? And you're ending up with one problem. When people, the third gen, have to start realizing want the fat controller. We want him in front of us. Right? I'll be honest with you, I'll be up there with a shot. Right? To try and sort everything out. I said, there is no lies in anything. All you're doing is letting it unfold naturally. Right? It's the best way. Just let them do all the damage. Right? Because it all goes back on me because I have to sort it all out. Right? The programs, TV programs, right? They had a good way of telling you 3 times all your life. Right? It goes through the first generation, the second generation, and then when the third generation gets involved, we have to fix everything that was done previously beforehand. I remember Hawkman said that this generation will make the mistakes that the previous generation has done. But that's not true because I'm trying to fix the problem and solve it, but it's going to take commitment, support, and understand why is he breaking it down so I can prioritize what is more important and what is actually more realistic. When the newspapers knew they had the hacks in their newspapers on the 1st of April 2016, they should now realise, oh, we screwed up. Yes, they did. The EDP screwed up. The Norfolk News screwed up. Everything screwed up. So I'm now telling them the real deal, what's going on, fixing the problem, trying to deal with it, and it makes it all quite clear and crystal. But it's taking time. Then posters come up, right? Let's say the Norfolk Railway is saying the best railway heritage railway of the year. What a load of BS! Why? Because you're not seeing it for what it is. And when you realise what has happened, it's not what you see on the outside. It's it, it's you really have to know it on the inside first. So what do they do? Right? I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna be straight and honest. Right, all my programs, TV programs, everything else, everything I do on a regular basis, will ending up saying, "What is the catch?" There's no catch. You just gotta be wary of like saying what you see on the outside is different on the inside of the building. So when you wake up in the morning and smell that coffee, which is duck, really what he's saying, and then he says, what comes first, a chicken or the egg? And he's trying to explain that to me, and I realised exactly where he's coming from, right? So you got Edward, Henry, Gordon, and James, Percy, Toby, and then Donald and Douglas and Oliver and Emily on top of that. Then you got Rebecca, then Rosie, then you got Nia, then Gina on top of that, and it all built up nicely done. But you gotta realise this is not a joke. This is reality of it. And this is where people think they know it all. Well, think again. Because it's all there in black and white. But you've got to see it with your own eyes and ears. So when you look at the building on the outside, it's different on the inside. So the programs that I watch, right, we know it's true. We know it's logical. We know there's a big hiccup, right? But you have to really know what is happening on the outside, inside, not the outside. The outside is fine. You get a bit of okay, it's a good building. It's example of that. But when you go inside, then it's a different whole board game, right? Right. I'm trying to help people out when they're not acknowledging what they see. So when you unlock that door and realise what is going on, what is making this railway change, what is making the whole volunteers, the employees, and the management act the way they act, right? Let me put this in perspective. This will nail on a coffin to make you think straight, right? When the employers have been employed, right? This doesn't affect the volunteers, right? Because the volunteers can have every day or every hour or everything. They can work a certain amount of hours and so forth. That's not going to affect them, right? But down the line, when it comes to management, bad management makes bad employers, right? So you've got the management and you have the employees, then you have the volunteers, right? Only three things, right? So if there's bad management, there's going to be bad employees, right? But it doesn't affect the volunteers. Why? So I'm to nail on the coffin to you, right? When this happened in 2019, right, the volunteers did not do nothing wrong, right? The employees at that time did not do nothing wrong. You can check it out on Duck's story. That's how you work it all out. Then it nails on the coffin and tells you that there's bad management going in, right? When bad management goes in, then as you know, there's going to be bad employees. Why? Because the employees are going to be affected because the customers and everything else say, well, we pay this and we do this and that. They come back with feedback on Amazon, in Google and TripAdvisors and review it all up. And I check all the bad stuff, right? And that goes doink, 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 doink. Huh? That's not good railway service, right? I put that in one pile. Why? Because people want to sweep it under the carpet and just think it's like we sorted that problem. We can leave it alone now, leave them alone or her alone or whatever. And then you think there is one thing that's gonna save the day. When you look at it as one pile, the good pile used to be in the past, not the present. So when you look at 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, it adds up and then you get what happens is then you're gonna get mixed of bad reviews, good reviews, and then people say that the North Norfolk Railway is the best heritage railway in Norfolk. The answer will be no, because it's bad management. And it does prove a point. So when you think, when it all comes out to light, bad management makes bad employees in every angle. Why? Because the employees get taught by the management. Why? Sometimes you have to think on your 2 feet. When you go in this door, you're going to end up, it's going to really make you think. When you go in that door and you're working for the North Norfolk Railway, you're ending up with a bad management because then you've got to stand on your 2 feet and realise. Let me give you an example, right? I know this is going to sound crazy, but it actually happened on the platform, right, or near the platform itself, right? People, certain employees have a bad attitude, right? A lot of you may think, oh no, they haven't. They've got good manners, good respect, and everything else. Not all the time. Don't always. It's the people around you that despises what you're getting for your money, for your actual respect, for your actual service, and then travelling 5 miles from from Sheringham to Holt, and then you're ending up with one big problem. This is why I'm doing a long podcast. A lot of people said, why does he know so much? Because I'm bringing you back into the fold and making sure you're correct, standing correctly. right? We do not want a bad publicity, right? To get that respect back, the North Norfolk Railway has to earn it. They're not gonna. It's not about the reviews, right? At this present time, it's not about the 5 stars. It's not about 4 stars. It doesn't matter, right? You want respect, you have to earn it because you've got to show it. You've got to make it worthwhile. It's true, it's logical, and it's well respected. When you want something bad enough, it's about needs and wants. And the North Norfolk Railway is asking for everything want. Right? If you want to earn that respect, you've got to wait for it until you understand that every employee that goes into that building, even the customers, the volunteers, think when you go in that door to different environments. In the end, it's like training a dog again. This is why I really think you really have to put your leg down and realize if you want respect, you've got to earn it. Because I can't have disrespect on that railway. That railway is your pride and joy. But at the same time, you want to earn that respect, you've got to go backwards and start working and realize this man or myself personally has been honest with all of us. And you lot at the management are a bunch of arsewipes, excuse my French. But it's a damn truth. If you want respect, you want to get respected as a whole, not just as a heritage railway from 1970s, right? It's not the same publicity, right? So when you look at it, think about it. And I really want you to think, why, why go on the premises and ending up getting disrespected, right? There are a lot of employees that would do this just to earn money. And regardless that programs and TV programs do open your eyes a little bit, and movies included, I'm not going to give out all my private connections just for your own benefit, right? I don't want them to come back in my face and tell me this is a bad railway, this is a bad system, this is a bad this. I don't need it, right? I want to go up there, feel feel comfortable, not disrespected. You disrespected it because it was the management's fault at the time. When you look at it and when you jump into that hot pot, do you want respect? Do you want to earn it? Do you really want to see that respect to be earned back? It's not about the money. This is where it's all problem wise. This is why a lot of people say, I'm not going there no more, I'm going to a competitor. Work it out. It's all there, black and white. I cry day and night for the North Norfolk Railway to not brush up and wake up and smell the bloody coffee every morning and realise he's white. But he haven't been respectful. We haven't been the, the best railway we can be. If you want that respect back, you've got to get that nasty employees out and get fresh cadets in. You want to teach them from right from wrong. You need that respect. You've got to start earning it. It's not like a game anymore. When people know it's pure honesty up there, you have to understand there is more going on up there than what you think. So when you think intelligently, use your intelligence to work it all out. Don't just go up there and work. You can earn your money. Don't. I'm not disputing that. but don't let the management take over you. Because that's the biggest mistake they've done. They're always going to do that every day, try to test your patience. And you're going to end up losing it because you're going to break. They're trying to snap you. They're going to break you, right? And who ends up clearing up the mess? I do. Why? Because I've seen it happen once. No more. If they're going to do it 2 more times, right, which I'm going to catch them out again and again and again, and they're going to end up, the management will end up thinking, why is this man been so dead honest and then ending up breaking us at the same time? What does he see in us that two pieces make a whole, right? That's definitely true. But down the line, you got to be realistic about yourselves, right? The employees have to start thinking logically, respectfully, and also respect the customers at the same time. You're not going to gain that respect all in one day. That's for sure. The reviews that you get is just it's a mishwash, right? The main ways I've got to get earned respect. The first things first, I'll always be watching eyes and ears, contacts, connections, family, friends, all of it. They will all tell me. Why? Because bad management makes bad employees. Right? You need to start, the employees have to start breaking that system and say, we work the best way we can. We're not going to be overridden by a management that can't support us. We want a management that can understand us and the fat controller himself, the third gen, so we can work together as a whole. Three pieces become a whole. But the bad management makes bad employees. In the end, when the employees go on there, like I had customers complaining to me and saying a lot of things, right? But everything I do right now, I'm standing still on a pedestal. I'm waiting, right? I may know all the answers that the people want, the customers want, the community wants, the whole world wants. Right? I know everything they need, but I just gotta time it really well to do it well. So when I think that I have no right to go on those promises, right? Let's take what Sydney said, right? He's been victimized, right? He's been lied to as much as I have. So we both became victims. Duck is victimized. So there's three, right? Three can't be solved together. Three pieces there, right? Duck told me, I told him he's innocent. I already knew that, right? That's strike one. Strike two is Sydney. And strike three is me, right? Right, three pieces are there, right? The employees have to realise there's three pieces missing, and they've been victimised to a point where you understand it's all in truth. Yes, I will agree. Right, and at the end of the day, it's all written in black and white. That's what I'm saying. So when you look at it realistically, the bottom line in the end of the day, their management should not overrule employees, right? Because they're just doing the job they were set out to do. If you, if you like turn it the other way and said this and said whatever in the wrong manner, let's take one of the employers or employees at the time, right, trying to be rude at one of the volunteers, say, right, you either, right, this is her own quote. She said, You either come in or you can F off. Excuse my French, but that's her own quote. Why? I proved her wrong the next day on my time. This is 2019, and it's still happening this very day. So the bad management makes bad employees. Not all the time, but it's all there in black and white, right? So when all the employees go in, so do the volunteers. They want to make sure they are safe and doing the job the best way they can, with the best education they've got provided. They don't want to be exploited or discriminated or anything you could think of outside that pile. So when you got all the staff and the employees and the volunteers all listed in my flaming office, excuse my French, or the private office that you got up at the Norfolk Railway, I'm watching with eyes and ears. Why? Because I know exactly what's going on. The programs that I have to watch some of the time, and I also know what's going on up there. I can't always help everybody out straight away because I'm not on the premises. So if you've got a bad employer, as example, this is what I'm talking about, bad management, report them because you can actually get them sued, right? You can do that because a lot of people say, we've seen this happen once, we've seen this happen twice. Now it's the third time trying to tell you, right, we've seen this already unfolded and we got the memo, we got it all straightened out, bang. I, some people will end up. This is why it's all realistic, not joke. This is what's been unfolding to you. And the employees are trying to work hard as they can do, including the management have every right to boot everybody out, but not for the wrong reasons. You know, if you really want respect and you want right, and especially when it comes down to bloody damn Facebook in the end, you're ending up right. Facebook can't help you, right? The reviews are fake, right? Google reviews, TripAdvisors, they always tell you some of the truth, but they also tell you what the customers disagree with, right? A lot of people will say, look, okay, you want a good, you want to start at what the Norfolk Railway needs to do now, or the Northwestern Railway Company needs to do now, it has to start at the bottom because you can't continue where 2019 left off, right? So you're going to have to start thinking, okay, if we want respect back, we have to start at the bottom, right? Clear what the FA controller's done because the FA controller is there to support you. It's, I'm not there to fight against you. I'm on everybody's side, but I'm not a pedestal in the middle. No. So the Norfolk Railway has got false information, right? Misleading information from one side because of being a diesel team trying to control everything at the moment. They want this, they want that. Well, think again because it's all there in black and white. You, as the individuals will always say, when I start to see new employees or new volunteers going on that railway, they want something better than what they already got. Right? For me, in the early years and the modern years, to try and connect, you need to start prioritizing. There is something about this man. He's been too honest. He's been honest with us. He knew what's going to happen. I let it play out, and then bang, 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 bang. Right? The management up there is very toxicated. This is why I don't. That's why I'm not going up there at this moment because it's so toxicated. So when you see advertisements or you see this type of information on Norfolk Railway PLC as example, they're not focusing correctly. So when they focus, when they prioritize and get this, get A, B, C, and D, and work out he's right, we're not going to gain the best reviews anymore because we lost it all since 2019. Because we've booted out lots, the other staff, the other volunteers, and all of that, and the bad reputation that's building up from underneath. So when you realise it's all there in black and white, what do you think? Why programs, TV programs, and everything else is there to help you, but not give you what you need? You need to start realising there's more than to it than what you see. So when you really think about it, it's down the line. What does the Norfolk Railway want this year? Besides the events, the special events, and the during the year of the railway. At this moment, I see the Norfolk Railway failing, right? So they are failing, right? Because there's bad publicity, bad respect, bad customer services, etc., etc., and you're breaking it all down like a chain, right? When it all comes out in black and white, you're ending up saying, "Oh shit, he's right." Excuse my language if I feel out of tone, but a lot of them, the bad management has said this and this and this to all the staff, right? The problem is, end of the day, you've been lied to, deceitfulized by another management of the team, and then it's confused your heads, clear your head, and start fresh. How can we do it better than what we already given? Because in the day, if you want something done better, you got to prove to to the employees, the customers, the volunteers, and myself included, to say, look, we have to acknowledge all of this. We can't just ignore him because he's gonna catch us out, which I will do. So when you all think it's all hunky dory, in the day, there's bigger picture than what you're getting. So it's like I said. Let me put it another way for you to understand this. It's it's bigger on the inside, smaller on the outside. But it isn't. It's reversed. Why? Because it's smaller on the inside, bigger on the outside. So when you always think like you really are in control of the Norfolk Railway, no, it's not the best heritage railway. No, we know that for truth because we know the mistake you did in the past doesn't matter if it's right or from wrong. You got to correct that mistake, right? A lot of people make mistakes, right? Management and all, right? We learn. You're learning from your mistakes, right? Not to do it a lot next time. But there are a lot of people that would do it repeatedly because they got nothing else better to do, right? I see other bloody, let's say other competitors or other railway companies like which I will not name, but the Norfolk Railway, Norfolk Railway PLC has a lot to learn. And when you really break it all down and it's all coming into the light, ask yourself the biggest question that you can't answer. Ask that question. in your head and get the answer correct. If I'm telling you this now, it's because I know your next move before you make it. Right? People think they know it all. Right? Just make sure that every employee and volunteer get the respect they deserve. But they're not going to get it at this moment because they broke the chain in 2019. If I did what the well, let's say I was the management and I did what they did, I will never forgive myself this very day. So work it out backwards and go forwards before you can do anything. There's a lot of truth. This is not BS. This is Thomas Tank in reality. This is not, what I mean, it's realistic as it can be. Right? You can't ignore it. You can't throw it away. You have to learn from it. Put your mistake in one angle and say, we're going to have to solve this problem. Right? Don't toss it the next day and think it's a load of BS. It isn't a load of BS. Right? This is why people make mistakes. This is why the next generation is going to make the same mistakes as we did. Why? Because we have to make sure they don't happen the next time or happen before. Right? So the mistakes that were made before me and my generation, we're making the same mistakes near enough. But I'm trying to recorrect it right now, right here, right now. Why? Because in the day, the bad management, bad management makes bad employees. In the day, if they were, like I said, when people tell you that you either come in or f off, excuse my French, that's what I got quantitatively. I won't mention the person's name because I know it, or, it's realistic, right? I came in the next day and it was on a Monday. I remember it like it was yesterday. I did the washing up with no problems. I got respected as well for doing it, regardless of my strengths and weaknesses. This is why people push people to the boundaries. This is why people lose respect of the North Norfolk Railway. When they all got right, let me take another colleague of mine, right, which who I will not name, Mrs. X, Mrs. Double X, right? I won't mention her real name, right? She's a good office manager, right? She did her office work. She's always upbeat. She's always worked hard, and I knew that what her strengths and weaknesses are, and everything else. Why? I knew everybody previously beforehand. Why? I'm looking at you lot, and you may be thinking, what the hell is going on here? Well, if you don't learn from your own mistakes, like the previous generation did, you will end up making the same mistakes this time round. And this is why I said bad management makes bad employees. But it won't be the volunteers' problem at all because they did not do nothing wrong. They were just doing the job they were set out to do. But don't, when you always put them in categories, right? I never seen the North Norfolk Railway in its baddest form this year. Why? Because I caught them out in 2019. Then it went right through to 2024. Right? Okay. We had our, lockdown and everything else, sort of the story. But while I was working behind my counter, or my office, if you like to call it correctly, you're the one, the North Norfolk Railway was the one that failed in the end. Why? Because they lost respect, they lost customers, then the employees get affected by it, then the customers, and then you've got the main management. So when you look at the management at the moment, are they doing a good job to everybody's eyes? They don't show it on a platform, they hide it. When somebody's got something to hide that was actually really, really bad, you will know about it. I'm trying to be honest, upfront, and being really useful. When somebody's really useful on the line, it goes with the territory. It's like making the newspapers. When the newspapers get involved, saying, "Oh, this is the best way to come to," and all of that, that's a load of BS. So when you really go rewinding that story and realize, "Oh, sugar, I made that judgment of error," you have to realize the newspapers are covering up the truth as much as the North Norfolk Railway is. So when you really look down and say, "Why does he know so much?" Let's say I know so much, and I really look in the sky and make sure that the North Norfolk Railway are playing the right game. If they're not, the publicity, the the newspapers should be actually telling the truth and being honest with the public and the community. Right? There are times where I feel like they like to hide things as much as everybody else does. I said, no, 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 no. No. They're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna cover up and like a wristwatch in the end. And in the day, when you look at it, it's all true in reality, as it is, as it's been told for me. So when you all like saying, why is bad management makes bad employees? Because they've been taught indecency to their volunteers and their fellow colleagues to say, look, oh, right, regardless that I was really useful, I ended up getting the firework display, right? We all knew it from day one. So we got programs, we got TV programs, movies that tell you the full backstory, and you don't see it. But in the day, when you're dealing with the North Norfolk Railway themselves, break it down. Say like, say, say for instance, write a diary. If you don't write the diary, you don't keep up to the record, right? I'm giving everybody up there a chance to redeem themselves rather than just do the job they were set out to do. And it's one thing that I would make it quite clear, right? Right? Nearly the management have nearly lost its plot. They don't think before they say or do, and then you ended up with the employees that get the bad publicity because they ended up getting backfired by the customers, and it's not their customers' problem at all. Why? They just don't want to pay that much money. But in the day, bad management makes bad employees, right? And in the day, when you think about the North Norfolk Railway today, or yesterday, or the day before, or through 2019 and all of that, people just pick it up and realise what's going on. I said there's more to it because it's whatever's unfolding up there normally stays up there, right? But they can't. So when you think of me knowing everything they doing up there without me having to be up there for a bit, I said to you, third gen is fighting back. We don't want a bad management or bad employees or the volunteers don't need to be worrying about this too much. They're learning from bad mistakes, bad choices make consequences. And that's the thing about this problem. It's a lot more than what you think. But in the day, when you look at everything that's unfolded in front of you, who's winning? It's all there in truth. But the reality factor is that a lot. So when you think This is not a joke. Spread the word. The North Norfolk Railway is not to be ongoing. When you want something good, but you want that respect, the North Norfolk Railway itself, if you break it down from the name to the people underneath, break it down into three categories, you will find out that the bad management is the key. So when I unlock it out for you, I'm telling you, break it down. Why? So you got the name itself, North Norfolk Railway PLC itself. Then you got the bad management at the moment. You got in bad employees, probably near enough a line. That's where it starts in 2019 and onwards. Then you got the volunteers and the customers. That's four. But then you got me on top, makes the Hatt family member of the family, right? And the fat controller. So when you break it down, right, strengths and weaknesses are in every category. And when it looks like it was, when you think hope has been lost, it hasn't. You just need the right people up there to guide them, support them as much as they can. If somebody told me, can I work on the North Norfolk Railway? Right, if I was up there and I was in charge, and I am actually in charge, it's just that I have to work in a different department. The management themselves are bad choices at the moment. They're not going to get the result in the end of the day saying we're the best railway in Norfolk. The answer will be no, you're not. Because the choices you're making makes the bad consequences in the end. And who gets the firework at the end when I'm not up there? So if I'm not up there and I'm staying safe, included obviously, you've got a bad management, bad employees, that means including porters and guards. Then you have then the customers will start complaining because they're the ones that are paying you. And when it comes down to it, it nails it on the coffin. I do not want to like to repeat myself on this, but the thing is, when it all comes to light, there's no misleading at the moment, right? The choices you make have consequences, right? A lot of people say that you just can't see it because you're not seeing it from within your own self. So when you realise the last generation, right, had their own descendants, this generation, that's right, if I get it correctly, ourselves are correcting the mistakes of the last generation. At the same time, I see this generation is making the same mistakes as the last one. So work it out. There's a piece there that I'm giving you and say, look, don't make the same mistakes as the people that did it the last time. Right? The next time I get rude or get abused or not being treated right, nothing will come right. So when you look at the management today doing whatever they need to do, ask yourself the biggest question. There are people out there that are doing this to protect the North Norfolk Railway. But at the same time, you got to realise there's a barrier up there that's safeguarding me and you. I want to keep the volunteers up there. I want to keep the employees up there. But they need guidance, better support guidance. They don't need just the training of knowing the track safety test and everything else. They want better management up there. They want people that can respect people for what they've done and what they've been able to accomplish. But I'm not going to be going down the line and saying, look, you've got bad management up there. I know that, right? But I can't do nothing at this present time. So when you had this done in 2019 and saw all these volunteers being booted out, and then plus myself included, you're the people that are left out with nothing near enough is you. Why? Because you're not seeing the bigger picture while you're stepping on the outside of the building. When you're inside the building, they treated you either as equal, disrespectful, or respectful. Right? Most of the time, it's disrespectful. Why? Because a lot of people at that time, or this time, they still, have you noticed any changes up there? Have you noticed anything up there that may say that, no, this job is not right? You know, if they're going to pillar to post, it's what I call it, I ending up saying, look, okay, I've seen this happen once, I don't need to see it happen twice. So when you think about the logic and respect, the management are not going to see it, the bigger picture, because they never will. They never will see the bigger picture. So when you see yourselves in the front of your eyes, right, a lot of people that had good volunteer work, employee work, right, ask yourself, the people that helped you before got given the North Norfolk Railway good reviews, good everything, right? So let's be honest with the North Norfolk Railway and the rest of the world for this one. The North Norfolk Railway failed on its own accord. Nothing to do with me. They've done it on their own purpose and their own fault. So when the management is not correct for you, and they say, oh, he's a nice guy, or he's a nice woman, or whatever, you're ending up, their true colours will show. And they will instantly say, I think you need to step out of that building before you get booted. It's like I say, I want you to stay safe. If you're a good person, you will realise it. When you step in that building, it's a different environment. And there's a different set of rules and everything else, and regulations and so forth. But it's not about that. It's about respect. It's about honesty. It's about what the North Norfolk Railway stood for. It's not what you're gaining. It's what the customers want. And when you look at the customer's eye, right, you're not getting the full intensity of it all because I already seen it unfold naturally. So when you think when there's a pulling cord there, or I pull cord here, or I pull cord here, I know things before you know it, right? I understand that you may be feeling uncomfortable up there. Or some people are feeling a little bit nervous, or are they feeling like I don't fit in this place because I got dis, disabilities or discrimin. If you've been discriminated, then that's a different cat of ball game. I want people to realise why is he coming out with the truth? Because there's a lot more going on up there than your eyes can see. So when your eyes can see it, your ears are the main key. And if you hear something that you don't approve, just realise, right? Let's say, let's take it for an example, right? You're part of a management team, right? And you're listening to all their conversations, and you're taking notes. Just memorize it all in your head, then take notes. Because in the day, you're actually making evidence. because they've taken the web cameras offline, they've done this online, they've done website changes, etc., etc., etc. People are going to get, right, the customers, before they even jump onto that wayway, they're going to say, I'm not interested. Because there's, it's not what the wayway offers, it's how you get treated. And when the treatment is not going to be that respectful, then the management at the time, bad management makes a bad wayway. And when you think about it, it all breaks down like a chain. So then what happens? When the bad management goes down, who's left to pick up the pieces? Then people say, oh, we get new management from another railway company, or the railway company that doesn't even know what to do with the North Norfolk Railway. And the North Norfolk Railway is understanding what you're good at, your strengths, your weaknesses, then you put in your your practical skills and playing well. This is why I've been tested, right? I did not in the day when you think about the railway itself, I've got more knowledge on that railway than anyone else put together. I said I even know it in reverse and I know it in forward. I don't need you to tell me I'm in the wrong. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of things that are unfolding to me and saying, look, you need to prioritize. You need to strengthen up your skills. Yes, but I'm not asking for qualifications, right? I'm asking for employees that can do a good job with good manners, good respect, and everything else. When the management are concerned, they all fired because they're not going to give you the respect you want. The porters and guards are going to start thinking twice, right? They've been lied to. That's their own fault. They get fired because they want to listen to rumours. They want to listen to the dishonesty. They want to listen to all of that. They are bull. I hate to say it. They're the load of BSs. When you've got people that used to work on that railway line, doesn't matter how old they were. The problem was knew that they knew the job better. Why? Because they taught me well, too damn well, to their best of their capabilities, or the education they provided me. Why? I don't just go stabbing in the back and say, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. No, I help you to improve your skills. And when you look at me now, or look at the management now, you're going to say, no, I'm not going to work for this railway company for no more because it's the bad management in play at first. Right? So you look at the railway, you see the trains going up and down the line for 5 mile stretch, right? But in the day, what makes the railway the best heritage railway in history? Right? People. Yes, of course, the people. But then you've got to break it down from management to employees, then volunteers. Right? Three things, right? If you can't see it within your own self, look at it from a different angle all the time. Don't just think the eyes and ears are the main importance. Yes, but the downside of it all, what makes the best railway? And now I'm going to give you that answer because I think in the day that you're all going to get the answers that you need. So when you break down everything they do for you, right? Right, you got buffet, you got ticket office, you got office work, management, etc., etc. Going down the line on this because I have to make sure that you stay safe up there because I don't want you to be pillar to post. Then you have it same in Holt, same in Wayborn with the Wayborn Angel Sheds workshops. That's another job. But then people that employed by there or employees that are working up there, plus the volunteers. You got your strengths and your weaknesses. Then you break it all down. You get the management out of the way. They don't know. They probably know half of the BS that a load of the stuff that you need to know. Yes, I probably agree with that. But then they will cut off because they can't help you much further, right? So you got your track safety test done and dusted. Then your main employee in CV, as they call it. So you have all your qualifications in that, and they look at that, ring, ring, rang, room, right? And then a lot of job offers, or a lot of support work, or a lot of acknowledgement to know where you're standing, because you don't want to go jumping in the gun and say, "Oh, I love this job, I take it." Right? No, do it another way and look at it realistically. So when you look at it, it's like saying, "Look, I've got to break a chain again to able to support you." It's like saying there's more to it, right? So you need to start prioritizing. This is where your brain does the thinking, not the doing part. So when you've done all the track safety tests, of course, you're going to have to start realizing he's right, or the person, doesn't matter if it's a he or a she, they will say he's right. He's better than this management business who actually provides the trying to help you get going, right? But then you got to realize, don't let them overrule you, because you will end up backfiring yourself. Because they might say, right, I want to work in the buffet area. They probably say how many days or how many weeks, or let's say how many days you want to do it, and then they will. Then you have to break it down, or then they won't break it down in general, because there could be more employees than what you would expect, right? Or volunteers that will be able to do a lot of work, etc., etc., right? And a lot of people say, look, and then the management will bullshit with you, right? You got to cut the bullshit away from yourself, because when they bullshit at you, that's it. It's game over for them, because they lost something. They're not gaining anything. They lose respect, not actually gaining respect. So when there is like, what then you really have to punch in and say, look, I'm good at washing up, I'm good at cooking, I'm good at this. They will take your strengths and turn them into weaknesses because they put you somewhere else, right? So you need to start realistically finding out, realizing there's more to it than what they are just telling you in front of your face. If somebody looks at you in the eye to eye contact, then you're talking business. But sometimes they bullshit at you. And when they bullshit at you, you don't get what you need. It's how the person feels, the best job for them. That doesn't matter about their disabilities or anything like that, but it does make 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 the admins or the management at the time to pick a right job for you. But in the day, that's not going to help them. They just throw the book at you because they just said, "Boom, we're going to send you to the engine workshops." Bad move, right? This is what it it's really understanding, because it is truth of about what the North Norfolk Railway does. So you need to start prioritising. If you're good at one job, they always turn your strengths into your weaknesses, and then they knock you where you don't want to be. You know, I hate to say it, it's about like understanding what goes on in that place. You're not winning anything. The North Norfolk Railway lost in its own prying eyesight. They lie about being the best heritage railway. They lie about a lot of things, right? Lies don't get them nowhere, right? I feel sorry for the employees for being lied to, and they believe in that rumour, excuse my French, rumours or lies, and then they double it up. The volunteers, trying to explain everything under the silver platter. So the volunteers are doing their work, doing the job they were meant to do, on the best education they were given. They're not there to BS, right? A lot of customers that go up there say, oh, it's a good railway, it's a bad railway, it's this and that. You do not want the bullshit everywhere, right? When the truth sets you free, right, you ask yourself the biggest question of all time: why does the fat controller always set you free? Because I've been honest with you, right? I don't lie, right? And I've been honest with all of all of you around the globe, and I know it's a big story to take in, and you really have to really understand. It's not just my programs I watch, but I understand what's going on around you. Right? I have contacts, I have connections, I have people that know me too well. The Steam team is ready for you, but we can't go up there because I've been banned up there. So, how do you recorrect the problem that was done in 2019? Right? I don't need to tell you that story again, but you only have to listen to Duck's story because that tells you the full back story of everything that's unfolded. So work it all out in black and white. Why? Why do you think that everybody respects me for what I do? I don't do this out of spite or anything. It's been honest with you. Get the management out of there because it's bad management. Right? You're not going to get anything. You're not going to go any further forward because they've been lying to you. They've been deceitful against you. You're not going to see it because you have to use your eyes and your ears able to compensate the actual scenario. And then when people come to it in the end of the day, right, people will start asking bigger questions, bigger answers. And what happens at the end of the tunnel? Problems, confusion, and delay, right? Everything has its purpose, right, in life, as it does. The Norfolk Railway failed, right? You need to start looking at the bigger picture and realize there's something bigger in your life to to accomplish, right? But if you're gonna work up less, you need to look at the bigger picture. Keep a diary and knowing exactly what you keep a record of what you do up there to help you support yourself. Don't walk, don't just do your work. Keep your eyes and ears peeled and knowing what's unfolding and acknowledge that everything you know, I will know. And everything will just piece together slowly. But you need to really understand bad management makes bad employees. And it doesn't affect the volunteers because they haven't done nothing wrong because they don't get paid, right? So when you look at the bigger angle of it, the North Norfolk Railway is failing in its own right, in advertisement, in in everything you see, and it comes out in black and white. Why? Because it's the truth that I'm giving you, the honesty I'm giving you, the respect I'm giving you. I'd rather be honest with you than feel sorry at the end to see you being discriminated or hurtful or you lose your job or you lose your voluntary job. It doesn't matter. The thing is, I'd rather make sure that you work better up there than anything. You don't want the management to overthrow everything that's in front of you. There's bigger puzzle in play here than just a game. There is no games in play. So when you go in there, right, all the community knows this. inside and out, right? There's a lot more bigger picture involved. So if you think that you're going to gain something from this, or you're going to actually realize it's true, yes, a lot of truth is going to come out of this, and you're going to realize, why did this happen? Why did you make the railway so torn apart? It's like splitting a railway into two pieces. Why? You don't need that, because that's like discrimination, and also realizing people's potential. It doesn't matter if you've got strengths. Right? Strengths and weaknesses are the greatest key in the universe, right? But down the line, you're the one that's ending up getting hurt, because you're starting to see the bigger picture on the inside as well as the outside. So it's not the building, or the building that Rayborn, or the building that Holt. You're starting to wake up and smell the coffee and realize, what am I jumping into? What are they going to give me? What are they going to do? What do you think the management are going to do? Do they really care about you? The answer will be no, because they're after money. It's not about the employees' money. It's the volunteers will get a new perspective of seeing it from a different angle. They're just looking at it from the actual point of view, because in the day, it's the truth, it's the logic, it's the respect, it's making sure that everybody needs what they need to get. You know what I mean? You see, there's a barrier where you're crossing, and it's not the volunteers' fault. It's not the employees' help. You know, problem at all. It's the management. The management will always be there, but the thing is, if they're gonna screw up all the time, they're making the bad management makes a bad railway. That's how I put it. Right? You can't see it unless you're really on it, and it does drive people nuts. And I'm not saying it from top to bottom. It's like I said, the previous generation before me gave that railway a lot of respect, right? But since that time, you you really thought about it, had a cup of tea while listening to this podcast, and realize and think, why did the railway fail? Why did the railway cause so much trouble? It may be not the railway itself, but it's the people that run it. You want somebody that's honest, respectful, help you along the road, and make sure that you get the best education you got in front of you. But you've got to learn the value of the people that you're associating with, respectfully, on both sides, employees and volunteers. Then the volunteers will have to work together sometimes, like it does. But then you've got the management that have been acting so bad. So what you do? If they don't help you, and they get too cocky, rude, selfish, or whatever, then you know there's something about them that you may disagree with. You know, there's a lot of boundaries in the line where you're not seeing it with your own eyes and ears. Everybody said, oh, this is a good way, la la la, go down the line, right? But they're only seeing it for one day. Try, let's say, a whole year, working for them. Not as the customer, paying it for one day and have a good trip up there. The whole management side of it damaged the whole railway system up there. They didn't destroy it, they destroyed themselves, because they not got you a better front seat at the end. When it's all true in your eyes and your ears, and when you look at it, you're wondering, why did I get disrespected? Why did my son get disrespected, or daughter, or vice versa? And then the customers start passing the buck, passing the news, spread the word, spread the word. Then the railway, the management in charge at the time, will end up crossing. Why? Because they make themselves the bad management makes a bad railway, and you've got to really look at it and look at it logically, even if it's not gonna, it's no BS in this video or this podcast because I'm trying to make you see it for what it is. You know, regardless of programs taught me a lot, movies taught me a lot, and everything else. But when the railway is been threatened in the way they thinking they can solve it, they won't be able to solve it in one night. The reviews have gone down to zero because it's the truth. People are going to start realizing the railway needs to have a structure, a bit of confidence to understand, let go of the past and move forward. Change the way you think and say, this man is telling the truth. This man has been honest with us and we just didn't pay attention to him. And then you're ending up saying the bad management will say, we've got to have him. Or sometimes they may ignore this because they do the ignoring game, as they call it, because they don't know much. And then they ending up thinking, we want to control it. I said, no, you won't, because the barrier is up on me. So when you think that you could get away with it, the answer will always be in front of you because when there's a bad railway, bad management. And then people will start piecing it together and start working out why do you know a lot more? And I said clues are lying everywhere. So when you think that you could just change the way the railway works or operates, of course it goes up and down the line. Don't close at 5 o'clock. You're in season now. You're in big season, right? 5 p.m., right, was its closing time, right? Which it is, and it's like season more. When it gets to spring to summertime, then they will have to do an evening train, right? Which is true. But they screwed up even more. So what did the management do that screwed up everything else in front of you? One thing I keep saying on Facebook quite a lot, and I'm not being dishonest on this one, there is a big thing on it, right? How many of you know that you got somebody that could solve all your problems in one swing, right? And the bad management at the Norfolk Railway caused all of this shit, all of this problem, right? Like a big problem under the carpet and they can't get rid of it or clear it all up themselves. Because they got too lazy for it, for them to sort it out properly. Correct it. You know, you can't just say you're banned, or whatever, or you can't come back to this railway or that. Everything has a purpose in life where you can't see by trying to solve a problem that you think you can solve. A lot of the management has caused this problem, and they can't balance it out correctly. Why? Because they ending up with a problem. They got they got volunteers, the employees, and they ending up with the one thing they hold dear, right? Agents. Agents give them money, right? It's not about the money of the tickets. The tickets could be dropped down in price, right? This is one thing I fear most because I ending up telling the truth, but I'm being honest, I'm being respectful, and getting you the message clearer than the naked eye. People will have to start realizing this reality of the Norfolk Railway as it stands. A lot of people will not go on it until there was a lot of more of respect, honesty, and all of that. But they also got one problem. How many of you, I'm going to be questioning this on everybody that does this. I know this is not your problem directly. The North Norfolk Ferry, and this applies to all their staff and their volunteers. What do you want? Need more than want? Right, this is a needy section, not a wanty. Right, of course you work hard. Have you seen all your best colleagues, friends, connections at the time? And you start to realize, oh, sugar, we screwed up, right? The porters and the guards screwed up, right? As example, because they will do. And they thinking in their heads a little bit more and they start to realize, why does he know all of this? I said, look, look at the bigger picture. It's not a little box anymore. It's a bigger picture in the whole real reality of it. Get it? Reality factor here. Shit. And then it will obviously come out with the truth, right? And a lot of people that know the truth really well, without having to brag it off too much, is that the bad management makes the bad employees. So the reporters, the guards, they will get bad reputation for what's not balanced out correctly. So how do you balance out three things in the entire world to make sure that you understand that it is realistic as it can be, right? It's going forward and it will unfold every day for me. For you lot, it's like saying, we need you. You can't just rely on the management because they won't give you everything you need, right? They're going to be disrespectful at times. So you're not going to trust the management, right? You've got to take the obstacle out because sometimes when it is a heritage railway, stop thinking of it as a company because they're not. It's not a company to begin with, right? If you're trying to earn money, do more activities, events, everything else. Because I know it costs money one end, but it brings more people in. But the more people will start. First of all, in all plain eyesight, how do we gain respect again from fresh? Like it's a new day, a new fresh start every day. Don't just jump in that building and start working. That's for starters, right? I think you need to really understand why is this guy being so damn honest with us compared to the management that works for us, right? There is a lot of things about that I know that I can't always disclose in public, right? So when you really, really look at it, there is a big catch in everything, right? The reviews they got on Facebook may come from genuine people, but they don't know a thing about it during the year. When they do it all year round, like they go every day of the month or year as such, like a regular as they call it, then they get a bigger picture and they can understand why volunteers and staff leave so early, right? And then they're ending up with bad management on the other end, saying, right, oh, right, let's say this management decides to say, right, let's say they get a bit rude or a little bit angry with the customers. Is that a way to go? No. You have to show respect. Respect is one key element in this. You want to gain more people's publicity and and reality of it all. You need to grasp that respect first. So there's a lot of things about what goes on up there that tells you something's not right, something is not particularly right, it doesn't feel right, everything is like pull cord all the way through. They are, let's just say porters and guards, right? They're getting pulled by the management. Pull, 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 pull. Why? Because there's a lot of truth about that management that you can't see. And when you break it down as a chain, then you start to realize, oh, crud. Right? I'm not going to be always there for you, but I will guide you as much as I can. I just don't want people to get hurt or feel like they're getting cocky, rude, selfish, you name it, and realize they want more money. They have to earn it because sometimes earning respect is the key element, but they're not going to gain it overnight. It's like me, right? If they want, this is why a lot of people say, why did, did this happen? Why did this connection knows a lot of things? Why? Why? And why? There's a lot of questions out there that a lot of people still want answers for, and they're not going to achieve it overnight. But it's all true. It's all logic. There's there's a lot of things you may not think straight away like a record. Right? The North Norfolk Railway has a bad review status since after 2019. Right? A lot of people might think, right, let's just say children and adults. Let's take them as separate individuals, right? But they are family, friends, connections, whatever, or people they know. Let's just say a family that comes on to the North Norfolk Railway and they expect something in return, right? When they check the prices, they always want fair prices to get there from A to B or C, right? Because we're talking about Sheringham, Rayborn, and Holt, right? I know there's Southern language, Southern station names, and they end up pulling out the strings, right? So when you look at people realistically putting it all together, they will crack and they start answering. Then they will start asking questions. There's a lot of boundaries which you're not seeing on the full scale extent. So when I say stage one, the management is the key of all problems right now. Right? Porters and guards are victims. The volunteers got nothing to do with it unless they've been abused. Right? And then you've got the customers who have been neglectedly being pulled in and say, we're the best way, blah, 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 when it isn't. You see, there's a bigger picture involved than what you see. So when you're outside the building, instead of inside in the building where the platforms are and everything else, it's a different environment altogether. And in the day, you really have to look at it logically and realize he's right. This railway will not, be running for much longer because things have gone out of proportion. So when I know things, I pick up on things, right? Little simple stuff, right? But it's not a joke. The answers that the North Norfolk Railway doesn't even realise, and then you realise that they're losing customers, volunteers, staff, you name it, because they've been drawn to the truth. The truth they want and need because they're losing patience from within and their minds because they know exactly that the way forward to get better as well is to ignore that management. That management is what draws the North Norfolk Railway to fail because they've fallen down like bit by bit by bit. Pictures, train spotting is fine. I'm not blaming about train spotting if you were doing this as an event, whatever. We all talk realistically here. You know, there were things I've got connections everywhere. I know people. I've got informants, etc., etc., etc. But then the Norfolk Railway has to work out why are we getting this problem, or why are we solving this problem? He's solving our problems for us. Why? Right? The porters and guards will wake up and smell the coffee, and then ending up realizing I'm clearing up all their mess. So you get a better publicity in the end. But at this moment, the reviews are zero. You may got 5 star on certain places, or TripAdvisor, or Facebook, or Google reviews, or everything like that. Then it wakes you up and smell of coffee, don't it? When you realise that the bigger picture was staring in right in front of you, and you can't run away from your own responsibilities. I understand that. But when it comes down to push to shove, I have seen a lot of good staff, volunteers get hurt in 2019, and you want to say they're making the same mistake again. Why? Because you got a bad management and you're ending up with volunteers and staff scared of the place, the former staff and volunteers, except myself, who's fighting back so badly, who knows the truth inside and out. So when you got a bad management, that's it. You don't want to be sworn at. You don't want to be kicked off. They don't, right? The people at the time discriminated you as well, on top of that, which you don't notice, and it all comes clear and crystal. I said, to break that barrier, I'm going to say to you, leave the railway alone because you're not going to move forward. Right? I have seen a lot of things in my life that doesn't always completely add up, don't get me wrong. But I know certain things are unfolding quite well. And then people will start asking questions, saying, why is this railway so bad? Why is this railway so not going forward? But they're getting reviews that are dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And because the community is losing faith in the railway. They say it's the best railway. No, it isn't. The North Norfolk Railway isn't the best railway. EDP is lying to you. So when you read between the lines again, like I stated in my last video, it makes it quite clear and crystal. So when you look at yourselves and look at everything that's unfolded, you start to think he may be right. But in the day, the bad management makes a bad railway. And in the day, they're crossing the line that I did not want them to do. Right? So the bad management becomes a bad railway, bad reviews, and then bad customer service at the end. So when you break it all down, it's all there in black and white. So I don't expect you to override this in every angle because you will notice it with your own eyes and ears. I just don't want you to get hurt, scarred, or anything like that. Not like me. Don't get me wrong. They thought they got rid of a fat controller that easy. No. The bad problem is the bad problem is it's the bad management. And when you've got a bad management, the North Norfolk Railway is set in stone to fail because it hasn't got hope. It's the key for it. Hope to keep it running. You got everything is set in motion, right? A lot of people said, who caused the damage in the first place? And I always tell you, it's Stevie Diesel. who we won't name, but we know who it is. Then Sydney, who I won't name, was a victim. Duck was a victim. I was a victim. Three people. So work it out. Three people got victimized. That nails it on the coffin, don't it? So ask yourself a question. The biggest question you all want to know is ask yourself this answer that you can't explain. This is not a joke. This is reality. This is truth. This is logic and respect for every angle that I can give you. I said there will be a time where you will have to stand up and realize from right from wrong and realize where you stand. You want to know where you stand when you step on that premises because in the day once they kick you out and they think they've got the power and everything else. I said, no, you're going back on there because you deserve respect. Respect. And you know what I mean? Because in the day, you did not did not do nothing wrong, nor did anyone else on the G2 fleet. They had nothing wrong. I just caught Diesel out and basically said, why you got your employees list and volunteers list for? He lied. So when you got Sydney that's vulnerable, then plus myself, right? You're asking yourself the biggest question of all. Bad management makes a bad wayway. They're not going to gain that review backup list back up like it did when it first opened up. It's not the way that you're expecting, but they have to start fresh to go up. I know there are bad people or bad management that can't control what they do up there, right? I know they're from right from their wrongs. They just basically screwing everybody's lives up. So when you go in that premises, you've got to use your eyes and ears to get out of systems. Realize what did the fat controller see that we didn't see. So let me tell you, I was sitting in the buffet at the time, and I was in the area, and I was drinking tea, watching the engines go by. That's all I did. And then I won't mention this individual's name, but there you go. But everybody has a personality to every engine, and that's no lie. And I would not lie if it's a steamy or a diesel, right? People know people from within, even with and out as well. And I take it on board to make sure that you all stay safe. Because in the day, people that are on that management list don't give us a BS about you. All they care about is the money that comes in. When the money comes in floating like hell, a lot of people will say, why they are wanting money all the time? Work it out. Look at the timetable. Look at the events and work it out. Because it's a big clue in it. Right? People want to see the North Norfolk Railway as a company. Then goodbye to the North Norfolk Railway. Because you lost it. The North Norfolk Railway is lost in time. So the name itself has been lost by a bunch of management people that don't give a shit about you. You want respect? They're going to have to earn it. You don't have to worry about it because you gained it. Right? People that got booted out there in 2019, they're innocent, including myself and Duck. Right? But there are a lot of people in the management right now that don't give a shit about you. All they care about is the money. If they really cared about everybody previously beforehand, they would have done something about it. but I never see them push themselves to the edge when they made the North Norfolk Railway not the best attraction on the planet. So when you realise that the whole world knows about it, ask yourself the question: if you want the truth and you want the honesty out of me, be respectful and just be looking at the bigger picture than what you just see. You may be in there for one day and you probably got this and you probably got that, but deep down the line, are they pushing you? Or are they trying to force you? Are they trying to tell you this or that? You got to work out what is the management doing wrong to you. The answer is it's already there on a silver platter for you. You just got to be realistic. And it's not the same thing every day for everybody. But it takes a lot of time and a lot of commitment to work it out. And if you can't see it with your own eyes and ears to begin with, it will click in the near time, but then everybody will realise, oh, the fat controller's innocent, Duck's innocent, and then all of that. Bang! That's all true. That's no lie. So realistically, down the line, ask yourself the biggest question of all time: what the management done wrong that they can't be correct? The slip up. So when all of this is all unfolding in front of them, ask yourself the biggest question: who gave me the memo to say I'm innocent, but then they told that that was true to the heart? Emily. So when Emily approached me and Toby, bang, nail on a coffin. And they nailed it on the coffin and said, you're innocent, I'm innocent, bloody you, the whole fleet are innocent. We've just been backfired, basically, near enough. But the thing is, bad management makes a bad railway. And since we left, the railway's been going downhill. Why? Because there's no respect, there's no honesty, and there's no respect for the community as well as it is the customer service. So when you think about it, when you're running a business, don't treat the North Norfolk Railway as a business because it doesn't work. Two things that don't work out well is voluntary and company services. They don't work. When you know it's in that I got your best interests in every direction. When you go up there every day of every night, every day of the week, starting at 9:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning at your posts, of course, and start working, do you ever realise that the management are getting cocky and rude and selfish? The answer is yes. So don't say nothing to them. The best way to do it is keep quiet and then start fighting back from the outside of the building. So then you've got safeguards in place. So when people think the bad management costs bad railways, and then when you realise that the customers are not going up there no more, they will realise the question is asking yourself, why is that? But then the answer was staring in your face directly. Yes, I will agree. But I have noticed over the years, I have noticed that little scenario as well. So when you got steam trains running and DMUs and all of that, which I hear quite often, and I realised, yeah, don't get too cocky because it doesn't work. You know, I said, look, people appreciate the railway, but they do not want that disrespect. You have to start at the bottom of the food chain because every year is going to be different for you. now in any direction. So the North Norfolk Railway failed. Yes, they did. They failed. The bad management. Then you got to realise the employees at the time are innocent, but they've got the wrong. Let's say they're getting the right message from me to say, look, this is what's happening. If you can't see it within your own eyes and ears, use them because they always tell you the truth. And then eventually, the North Norfolk Railway, at this moment, they're ceasing to exist because they've got nothing to lean on. They want to start fresh every day. Smell the coffee and have a drink, a cup of tea or coffee, whatever you have in the morning, and start realizing the management don't give a shit. Excuse my language, but that's what they do. They break the barrier, and they think they're breaking the barrier, but they can't because they're dealing with people they don't understand or people that they think they can boot out. They think they can put them in somewhere where they don't need to be, and everything else, and it all adds up. And I said, yeah, well, you could do all of that and nearly cost somebody's back, for example. That's another one. You know, you're not seeing the bigger picture. So when you see me, let's just say before 2019, people have noticed me being in the buffet, not causing any problems, etc., etc., and then actually doing the washing up, etc. They feel proud that people are communicating with me rather than just feel like, oh, then I had, let me put this in another way. Then I had Diesel's wife come to me and say, we're going to move you somewhere else because they thought they could do a better job. I said, look, no. If 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 people said that he's good at work at this job, but you're putting me in the in the weakness point where they put me in the engine workshop as example, and they just think they got it right there on the crystal platter. Where would you send people with disabilities? Let me ask you. I'm asking the question that you can't answer at the moment. If you got people with disabilities, where would you put them on the North Norfolk Railway? I will never put them in the engine workshop sheds. Why? Too dangerous in any aspect. Right? The other one that I would recommend them they could do, job wise, right? Office work, buffet work, depending on their disabilities. Even Holt Station. I'm not lying on that. So when it comes down to Wayborn, then it is more of an enable body people to kick in the guts and really strengthen their. You see, it's all about strengths and weaknesses. And when you're not seeing it, then the North Norfolk Railway management at the time, or this time round as well, they all failed. They screwed up so badly they don't see it within their own eyes because you have to use somebody else's eyes to see it unfold the way that really, let's just say the whole community, 8 billion people, are pissed off or pee off with the North Norfolk Railway. They're not interested in you as a whole at the moment. They see you as a failure because you didn't do your job correctly or you're not understanding or fix the problem that's in front of you. You can't see it, then you're screwed. It's like saying start fresh, work your way up. You can't ask people to review you on the day that you have a good day, bad day. It doesn't matter. Bullshit. Excuse my French, but it's the truth, right? People that know you from the outside, not the inside of the workplace, right? They get to know you and they will turn you right down, right? So then they will, then people will start, don't know you for what you are because you don't see the reality of the actual problem. The problem is take the management out, shift it to one side, and realise that the North Norfolk Railway has potential. But you got to understand that management at the moment that's running it for you, they don't give a damn. Why? They don't see the potential that you have, or the respect you can give them, or even myself. Right? They don't like people that's got hope and good qualities of being really useful, but they just don't know how to use you or how to respect you. They just think they can throw a ball at you and say to you, "We don't want you, get off our premises," end story. No, it's not going to work like that. So you need to look at your strengths and weaknesses, look at the premises. That's number one on the list, anyway. The management is way on the top of that list. I said, if you want the management to be good, you got to boot those out because all you're seeing is all the toxic. They're only showing you, it's what I call certain people out there. They've got a double-edged sword, right? When I mean double-edged sword, they have a personality to something else. So they're not always showing you their true colours until they hit you. And then when it hits you, I had about, let me say, before I got booted out, I had about a few of my volunteers and staff being mistreated, misguided, and all of that. Do you know what they did? They left the building because of the disrespect they got from the management. So if you think this is not the end yet, no. So if you think you're being misguided or misleaded, no. I'm giving you facts, hardcore facts, and they all come back to the actual timing of call. But in the day, so when people think they can get a voluntary job up there or get employed up there, just think up there, just realise that there's bad management up there, that they will never have the best interests at heart for you. I rather want something that you really want to go up there and get respected, get paid, and help the customers in the best way you can. Don't let them drive. Don't let the bad management drive you down and push you down and push you down until you until you spark off, right? Because that's where the frustration is. So when they are being pushed, 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 they've done this since 2016, way up to 19, and they got booted out everybody else, and then ended up with a dead railway up there. So when you think of North Norfolk Railway today, don't think of it as like a best top attraction, because you're only going with the views of the past, not present. You're not going through 2024 or whatever. They should be tested. I tell you now, if it was under my control, which it is, I said it's nothing wrong up there besides the bad management at the moment. You know, they're not going to help you as they, right? When I started in 2001, I always got the best support they gave me. So if you really look at it, the Norfolk Railway has lost respect. And if you can't see it, watch what you see. Use your eyes and ears and solve the problem. But sometimes a problem can't be solved. So get out of the building and and go get another job because there's another thing in front of you that can help you, support you, aid you, and then it'll give you a best treatment you can ever afford. The North Norfolk Railway is failing because they can't see their own weaknesses with their own strengths. Their strengths are to interrogate people to a point. Right, the track safety test is easy to do. That's not a problem. That applies to everybody. But the thing is, when it comes down the line, the North Norfolk Railway is lied to tabloids. Right? It's another thing. EDP, they got lied to. North Norfolk News, lied to. Why? Like I said, the North Norfolk Railway has their own strengths and weaknesses as well. It's not just about what they do for the community, it's how it was given to them, and that's why they know a lot as well as I do. I don't like to go up there either, but the fact is, everything that's happened is now out of the bag. If you want respect, we need to tell everybody it's true. Because it's true, it's logic, and it's respect. I don't want people to go up there thinking they got earning cash, blah 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 blah, under the wallet, and then when they feel like they've been mistreated by the management, you're gonna get that. And the problem is, you got to set yourself a boundary. So the boundary is there, but are you willing to go back up there tomorrow morning, or the next day, or the next afternoon, or whatever, whenever your shift is, and then realize I learned from this guy, this person, myself, as you want to call it, and you learned a lot more from me. So if you really look at it, has anyone got a grasp of why the management is bent, or they are You know what I mean? It's like saying they've done too much wrong. I nearly cleared up their wet mess, if you like to call it correctly, and I said, look, you lost these reviews. You think you're top heritage railway on the line or Met company of the railway line, but you're not. You just lost your way because you kicked out somebody that could help you, guide you, and support you now more than you can ever imagine. Too really useful, but you screwed up. So when you think that you got everything on a silver platter, break it down in chains. You got management, employees, and volunteers. Yes, we all agree. But when it comes down to the line of it, it's all there in black and white. Why is that? We're not always what you see is what you get, yeah. But I always know what's going on up there, even if I'm not on the premises. So, regardless to everything, every problem, everything you try to do, you try to accomplish it better and better and better, but you're not getting what you need. So, how do you improve the performance of the management? Needs to clear their heads and realize we got to start thinking fresh. Yes, you probably are, but let's say the management have messed up so badly, right? But there is a guideline where you've messed up so badly that you affected the employees and the volunteers. The staff and all of that need to start realizing as a full circle, what can we do to make things not better, but enough to improve on something. If there's a strength and weakness, let's say that the management is a weakness, right? You need to start prioritizing. So, strength, and to build its strength again, you need to understand why there's a weakness in there, right? The porters and the guards may be standing there waiting on the board, doing their normal chores, right? That's not a problem. The buffet people stick to what they do, yep. Rayborn do what they need to do and hope what they need to do, right? The management need to really understand what they got on a plate, right? They got a lot of screwed up problems, which is true. I'm trying to help them clear out a lot of them and say, look, you start growing up or you're all fired. They're not the porters, not the guards, not the volunteers, and the rest of the employees. This is all about the management. And when you've got a bad management, it makes a bad way. So when I tell you this, it's for nearly everyone's point across. And it's also giving you the truth. There's no lies, no deceits. If you feel like you can't work there anymore because they push their buttons or they're pushing you or they're trying to make you do what you're not able to do, don't let it bubble up on you and then you go home, feel depressed or out of place or anything like that. I want you to understand this bigger picture than what you are expecting. People will understand you better if they really just say, yeah, he's right. There is a bad management here. Or, people that are in charge. Because they don't understand what needs to be done. There is people that can help us on along the route, yes. You see, people are trying to take away things from you, right? Which is true. And that's why the North Norfolk Railway has a foundation they can't break. Because it's to do with my family that supported them, right? North Norfolk Railway is not the only thing that's in trouble, right? The North Norfolk Railway has a private connection as much as I have, right? My private connections deal with the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Yes, just before the North Norfolk Railway was on its high heels, obviously. People by the 1970s, the North Norfolk Railway was not as a PLC, my ad. Then the North Norfolk Railway built all that respect for you, and now the North Norfolk Railway is now tarnished. Why? Ask yourself that biggest question. I'm maybe giving out the right answers that you want, and you're asking the right questions on me. But the fact is, when you look at it, what did the North Norfolk Railway do for the community since 1970s? So you had 1980s, 1990s, right up to 2001 since I got onto the platform. And I've been watching nearly every one of you. And then what happens in 2016 as I got back into back into Rollsworth for Sheringham, bang! You lot who were management at the time, I'm not blaming the G2 staff, bang! The G2 staff knew exactly what to do. Why? Because they got orders from my grandfather, Sir Topham Hatt the First, before I was born. So they knew what's in the little package, but at the same time, then everything started to build up. Then things started to add up. You're not going to see the picture until you go into that premises. We know that. But there's a fine line to everything here. Right? So you've got bad management, you've got good volunteers and staff to a point. Right? We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Right? You exploited nearly all of Generation 2. You exploited me. Right? But you pushed your luck. Yeah. The management at the time and the management that probably is still the same ones. They think they got it all in a dicky bow right now. I said, there's a fine line they crossed. But there's a lot of things that you have to understand. Of course, there is things that need correcting, some things that need fixing, some things that need to make people understand we are the best railway, but not the best railway of today. So when an EDP published that, I thought, no, you're not. They published it, they acknowledged it, and I said, what a load of BS. Because in the day, when you look at the headline and look at the train coming into Rayborn for slash Marin, you're actually starting to realise, right, you need to recorrect that ASAP because they what they're doing is they're telling you that, oh, it's the best heritage. You've got to realistically look it out and work out where is the strengths, where is the weaknesses. The weaknesses on the management's part is to acknowledge that they've got problems. The porters and the guards are on standby, just like me. Why? And then you've got the volunteers, right? A lot of people say, I'm willing to help you out. But there's a part of my head that tells me that management needs to be fired. Why? Because they've disrespected nearly every one of us. So if you really want the respect from the Norfolk Railway at the moment, you need to break down everything and knock it down piece by piece and realise where's their strengths and weaknesses today. Where are their priorities? What can they do for us now? They can't help us. They can't support us. They're only pushing their luck, which I can understand that. And then you think, what can they do for you? It's just one thing that just doesn't get into people's heads straight away. What can they do for you? Nothing, because they've been they're not prioritising, they're not understanding, they're not physically putting themselves in their actual environment that they are in. When they step in behind those closed doors and jump onto that platform, what do they do? It's not about a badge on your name. That's sure. That's a load of BS. Right. Your name is important, but the badge they give you is a load of BS because they're representing the Norfolk Railway PLC. That's a load of BS because you don't realise that a lot of historical stuff and even the today's stuff, you don't realise they are connected for a reason. The management have never thought, oh crud, we screwed up. And that's where they can't think, we can't fix, you know what I mean? They can't fix the problem they created. When a problem has been created by an unknown source or the management themselves, whatever, who do they blame? The people on the platform and the volunteers and the employees. So they get the blame, and that's why they always like to test people's patience. If I was back on that platform, you all get treated equally, left, right, and centre. But the management that are on there today don't give a BS because they pushed, and they pushed. There will be a day when you realise, when you come off that platform, you will realise I'm right because they have to understand everybody. Break down the chain. There might be, oh, we got this or we got that, we got this, we got that, we got this, we got that. They're trying to bribe you, right? Bribing is not the best way to get people in, right? Right? A lot of people say you need to start prioritising, right? Porters and guards, right, need to start realising they need to start prioritising and think what is realistic, what is reality, and what is actually unfolded in front of your eyes, and make it quite clear and crystal to realise, God, he knows a lot more than we do altogether, but he does need help. He must supportively help to understand we're going to be helping him. But I can't do nothing for you on the North Norfolk Railway because they broke the barrier and the problem. So the problem of the management is their fault, their damage, their actual cause. Right? Because it's all them. So when you go on that platform every day in the morning or evening or whatever time you start, just remember it's not a very safe place up there no more. Not for everybody, because when you go in there as a customer and you're paying that money to go on the platform and get on the train and go to Rayborn and Holt, you're ending up with one problem: respect. If you got higher up management down the line saying you can't be on this platform, right? That's BS because they're trying to cover up something they wish they had messed around with, quite honestly. But the reality factor is that they destroyed the railway in 2019. Now you've got 2020, 21, 22, 23, and we're now in 2024. And then you're ending up with a big firebomb right at the North Norfolk Railway because they can't deal with a problem they can't solve. Because they can't, the porters and the guards can't respect anyone but themselves. Why? Because when they come to you, to the customers, they're not going to give you respect all the time. The management, they're probably laughing their heads off, writing the paperwork and everything else for you guys. But in the day, it's not always about money, that's for sure. It's about gaining people's respect. And one thing I do hate most of all, is discrimination. Everybody not always going to give you a positive answer to everything. So when you break it all down in left, right, and center to all of this podcast today, just look back and realize he's right because it's all true and it's all facts. So if you feel like there is a negative impact on this, just ask yourself a question. I am watching with eyes and ears. So if you think I am digging in, watch out, because the Norfolk Railway is back, including the Fat Controller, third gen, in every angle. So if you feel like you got everything under the belt, just ask yourself the question: I know everything. So the last year, which I understand, it's a great coastal railway journeys, blah blah blah, which was done about 59 minutes ago. While I was checking the North Norfolk Railway PLC, which it isn't at this moment, it's just gone through a lot of problems. So if you really respect the railway at this moment and you don't feel comfortable up there, just keep away from it because it's going to be premiering on Thursday, the 2nd of May at 6:30 on that BBC Two. One of 'em- one of the kind. But I do want you to understand not everything is in black and white when it's recorded as well because they like to cover up tracks. And when you got that down the line, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help anyone else, and it effectively makes you see sense there's something wrong about the North Norfolk Railway. And you're going to end up realizing there's a bigger picture unfolding in front of you. So if you really want to respect everybody, ask yourself a question: There's one question I can ask you, or you can ask me. What makes the railway special? One question is on the line. But while the railway is in its glory, it's still in its glory to its prime, but you have actually the actual railway itself is its own downfall right now. And with all that being said and done, people just don't get it anymore until they realise use your eyes and ears for everything. Because everything can be solved, and it's easier to solve with a conversation. Not all the time. You just have to watch it. Half the time, use your eyes and ears. People stay away from it because they know what's unfolding, and they know what's confusing a lot of people. And a lot of people say the North Norfolk Railway destroys people's lives at the moment. Not now, but they will do. And they will end up thinking, what? And I will say this for everybody. Just look in the bigger picture around you. Are you gaining the respect you want? Need. It's not wants, it's all about needs. And people do need the North Norfolk Railway, but they're not going to get it in one day. They lost respect, they lost the reviews of it because they lost the only one thing in common that destroys it in one place. And that's why I'm always watching with eyes and ears. Thank you very much indeed, in every angle, and it's all true. Thank you very much.